and welcome back to another edition of Running with James. My name is James Wyatt, and per the normal MO, we have Lauren, Coach Lauren Inman. I don't know. And then we also have
That felt
it felt
rude.
it wasn't meant.
I know it wasn't meant to be, but it was like, I don't even know.
I'm hanging on
her.
by a thread, Lauren. I apologize. Coach
did,
Carlos.
You did refer to me yesterday as like, because I said something about stress. He goes, "This is my stress." And he like pointed at me on the floor.
No. You were getting like your back rubbed out or something. You were getting like a knot or something.
I said, "I'm carrying."
And then somebody said, this is where I keep my stress. And I was like, yeah, I keep mine right here.
Yeah, he pointed at me.
I pointed at her.
On the floor dying.
And I don't know if she took that as a compliment. It looked like she was proud of it.
I waved.
She's like, yeah,
Look,
mission accomplished.
Number one.
Yep.
I'm number one at something, guys. It's a win.
Yep, that's the one. So if you're new to the Run with James podcast, thank you for being here. You'll come to an understanding of what this dynamic is all about. I'm the steady hand, the wise leader, leading people down this path to greatness. Coach Carlos, I'm not sure what he brings to the table other than just
we're uncovering that
the
episode by
silky
episode.
smooth Don that he is. He's a
Nice
That
tan.
caramel color.
Beautiful tan.
That nice caramel color.
yep.
My love of gelato.
He's the face.
That's it.
That's it.
Like the A-team.
Yep, he's the face of the franchise. And then Lauren brings in that.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah,
You don't know what
you
she's
don't
gonna
know what it
say.
means. You don't really know what it
I don't
means.
know what- no one really knows.
Yeah, this is je ne sais quoi. So
I would like to address something.
yeah, address it.
Okay. So I left last week early.
You did. Yeah.
I was anointed permanent spot.
And then you said, "Hey, I can do whatever I
Gotta
want
go,
now. I'm
gotta
out."
Go. So,
Yep.
but as I listened to the rest of the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I really heard you trying to pump her up to be number 2.
I tried to help her. I'm
She was
always trying to lift her
You
up.
did, and you really tried to pump her up. She was like, "I'm number 2. Wait, I'm number 2." And it was really, it was. You did a great. It was a great job
Thank
trying
you.
to pump her up. But
Thank you.
I don't feel the confidence was there.
No,
On my
it
end?
was forced.
Yeah, on your end.
It was
Yeah,
forced.
it was
You noticed? So remember, I told her. I don't know if you caught the part where I told her to sit over there.
Yeah.
To kind of establish dominance.
What time did I get here?
You got here early.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought I was going to do it on the first week? No, sir. We do not apply that on the first week. We wait until you're real comfortable, and then we throw a curveball at you.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, well,
we'll see if
so
that
I just have to
happens.
be on time, and that'll never happen.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
that's true.
That's one. Yeah.
That's literally all it takes.
That's all
you
it takes.
Thwarted all
Yeah.
my plans.
Just be on time. All her plans
Thwarted.
thwarted.
Guys, I'm the worst, like, evil supervillain ever.
James is-
You know Gru?
Yeah.
I'm like the female equivalent to Gru.
Actually, no. You're a superhero, but your kryptonite is being on time.
Yeah, that's
That's
exactly it.
every superhero has a kryptonite.
Yep. And
Yeah.
yours is the clock.
The clock.
Yours
Yeah.
is, dude, I messaged her.
Wait, earlier?
So here's what it reminds me of. So we're going to get into this topic. I promise we are. Okay. But it reminds me a little bit. I was talking to one of my athletes, and this has to do with what we're going to be talking about today. And they were just talking about, they sent me the run and they didn't hit the goal as far as like the effort. It was a little too hard. Right. And I was like, oh, we got to ease up a little bit, get that heart rate down. And they were like, well, I did this and this is why it was up. Right. I had just done this thing. And so today, she was 10 minutes not here. And I was like, are you coming? And she's like, yeah, I'm turning into the parking lot right now. I caught every light.
I did. Twice
so
on some
the
of
question I have is,
them. Twice on some of them.
the question I have is, are you late because you caught every light?
Twice on some of them.
Because he was 10 minutes early and drove pretty much the same direction you came.
No, I tagged.
Actually, he not only did he drive the same, he came further than you.
No, yeah, he did. No, technically, I left 5 minutes late on accident. I thought it was doing great, and I had like 6 minutes. I was like, I can make a.
There
shake
is
in
no.
6
It takes
minutes.
me 11 minutes to get from my house to here,
It takes me 15.
and you live further away than I
It takes
do.
me 15.
So what? How do you have 6 minutes and you think you're gonna make it?
I had 6 minutes. Like I can make a shake in 5. Well, turns out I can make a shake in 8. So I was a little late leaving.
So you
and
had
then
6 minutes to get here.
And
You had 6
then
minutes to
I
leave.
hit
She's
some.
not even addressing my question.
No,
because she
and
knows
then
she knows the answer.
I hit every red light, and
Throwing
some of them I was
math
at
at you, I
twice.
don't know.
Random, not even good math.
Throwing numbers out there.
Yeah.
The little squiggly sign, and then just.
I don't even know what those squiggly things for.
So how long does it take you to get here from your house?
15 minutes.
Okay, so if it takes you 15 minutes to get here,
I leave at
you don't
45.
you don't leave 5 minutes after you're supposed to and then blame the lights. Or 6 minutes after you're supposed
Twice
to.
at some of the lights.
Did you hear what I just said?
Did you hear what I just said?
Well, let me ask you this question then, okay? So you caught every light.
You're not going to win this.
Watch me. So you caught every light, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. On average, how much time does it take to sit at a light?
I have no idea. I've never clocked it.
You could look it up on your phone if you like.
I
The
don't really
average
care
traffic
to.
stop. Let's say a minute,
Okay, we'll go a minute.
which is probably long,
Yeah.
right?
Depending on where the light
You know
is.
what?
but
We'll go
sure.
2 minutes. How many lights did you catch?
I would say 2 minutes on some of the side
We'll say
ones.
2. We'll
It's like
say
a main
2.
street and a
2,
side one could be about
3.
2 minutes.
4. I'm trying to think 5, 6.
So you caught 6
School
lights?
zone.
Double.
7 lights.
Some of them double.
Some of them double. 7, and then a school zone. Got stuck behind 2.
We're in the middle of summer. What is the school doing?
Telling you, the little private school that's over here on Cutton, their lights were on the 20.
So?
I'm not gonna blow through those. That's how I got a ticket once in college.
Lauren, that section is a block. That's literally a block.
Still 20 miles an hour.
It's a block,
Yeah.
Lauren.
James, I did that 8 seconds.
We'll give her the 8 seconds.
Yeah,
All right.
15 minutes, 8
so,
seconds.
So now since you caught you said 7 lights.
Yes, I think 7.
Okay, so you caught 7 lights. Okay, you caught 7 lights, and we're gonna say they each cost 2 minutes.
Sure,
right?
14.
So it took you 14 minutes to get here.
Some of them twice.
Hold on, no. Listen. It took you 14 minutes of lights alone. Okay, but usually it takes you 15 minutes to get here. So if it takes you 15 plus an additional 14, now it takes you almost 30 minutes to get here.
I'm so confused. Wait, what?
Did she said it takes 15 minutes to get here?
Yes.
Yes.
But so I'm assuming that it takes you 15 minutes because you usually don't catch the lights.
Not that many.
Like what, 1 or 2?
Well, so I did something different, which was dumb. This is where I made a mistake. I usually just hit 249 and go to greens, and that's only like 4 lights. And for whatever reason, I was like, no. Actually, I remember why I did what I did.
You're not going to
went
spider
down
web so
Cypress-
much that I forget
I
this. Keep
went
going.
down Cypress Wood and then went up Cut, and there's way more lights when you go that way because that's where I hit all the traffic. That's where I hit the school zone. The reason I avoided my normal route, which is half the lights, guys, we're going to get to this podcast eventually, I swear.
Just say it.
I feel really bad saying it because now I feel like a bad person.
You're not a bad person.
I am a bad person.
Just say it.
When I was coming to the gym early to work out, there's a guy who was asking for food or money, and I felt bad because I didn't have anything to give him, and he also had a dog. And I was like, when I come later, I'm gonna make sure I remember to bring like a bag of food and water bottles for this guy and his dog. And I forgot, and I didn't want to go that way again and see him and tell him I didn't have anything again.
Did you tell him you were bringing him something back?
No, I didn't.
So why would you have to tell him that you forgot?
He saw me twice, and I just feel bad to say it again. I feel bad to
Is
say
it the
I don't
black
have
guy
it.
with the hat that
No,
sits on the
it was
corner?
it was not a black guy. It was a white guy with a little like.
Okay. So anyway, getting back to my original topic.
So I went the
okay?
long way.
So on average, how many lights do you hit?
So
I said on average, normally going my way, I go. And now I got to count again. Dang it.
No.
1, 2, 3.
You said there were only 4
5,
because you
5,
come 249.
5.
So do you usually hit all 5 lights?
No,
So how many do you usually hit? 2 or 3?
like 2 or 3. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say 3. So that's
Sure.
6 minutes that will take off of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So if it usually takes you 15, you caught 7 lights, that's 14 minutes, correct? Added to your normal 15 minutes. But we have to subtract the 6, correct?
yes.
For the usual time.
Yeah.
So now we are at 8. So 15 plus 8 minutes, correct?
Yes.
That is what, 23?
23.
Okay. So that means that from your house to here, it would take you anywhere from 15 to 23 minutes. Yes?
I have no idea.
No, I'm just asking you.
No, I've literally lost track of all this.
No,
already.
just-
Sure.
You know it takes you at least 15, yes?
At least 15.
So,
Wait,
but probably no more than 25.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, no more than 25, but at least 15. And you said that we're supposed to be here at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
What time did you leave your house?
250.
Does that math?
It's not mathing.
It math.
Because, hold on, did she not say, I have 6 minutes
To get there.
to make my shake?
Yeah.
Or I have 5 minutes to make my shake.
At
It takes
2:37, I
Hold on.
decided I had time to make
No.
a shake.
That's not what you said.
That is what I said.
No, you said I have 6 minutes to make my shake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I
but
had
you
to
have to
leave.
leave. All right.
Before I had to
So-
leave.
Oh, she said she had 8 minutes.
But
to
hold
make
on.
the okay.
Hold on. No. Hold on. She said she had 6 minutes to make a shake, but she has to leave by 2:45. Yes. 2:45 minus 6 is what?
39.
There you go. Not
Yeah.
37. So you're already padding numbers. So that's 39. So then you said it took you 8 minutes. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's 47.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you leave at 47 or 50?
Clearly not. I left at 50.
So what did you do between the 47
That's a
and the
great
50?
question. I don't know anymore.
So the point I'm making is you have no concept of time. You're just living footloose and fancy free with the clock. And then you're going to come in here and say it's the lights.
No, you got to say
And the homeless guy with the dog.
Yeah, and she neglected. Oh, it's because I didn't want to feel guilty about passing the homeless guy.
This is where you say lawyered.
No, I'm not going to say that. No.
If I were in a court of law, I would not do well. Even if I was innocent.
Here's all you
I
had
would
to
do
say when I
horrible.
said, "Are you coming?" Yes, I'll be there in a minute.
But I have to give you.
No,
I
because
have
it's
to
all
give you
bull crap.
details.
Those are horrible. Those are
I
horrible
have to give
reasons.
you details.
No.
Let me see what I got today.
Don't do this. What? Don't add to this, please.
I'm just
No.
coming up greens.
Yeah. It was
What time was that?
10:31.
That was coming up.
Oh, was it this morning for the
Yes,
workout?
For the workout.
What time was she supposed to be here?
10:30.
Ha!
We didn't start till almost 11.
Well, because somebody wasn't on time.
I had the sleds ready.
Oh.
I had everything. Was everything prepared? So where's this outrage?
Oh my gosh. You have 0 legs to stand on. Just admit it and either do better or don't. But stop trying to like justify and like explainify.
I'd like to not speak until I talk to my lawyer.
Okay. Well,
All right. Well, that was a great lesson in time management for all
It
people
was.
out there. So
yeah.
Hope everyone got
I like
that.
how she's over here like freaking math. Oh, these numbers. So many numbers. I can't keep track. Is that what happens when you're looking at the clock?
what
It's just so many numbers. I can't see them all.
Why has there got to be 12? I
Isn't
don't
it,
know.
don't you have a digital clock?
I do.
It's just 3 numbers.
Dial.
3 to 4 numbers at a time. Oh, your logic and your reason, James, it annoys me.
Really frustrating.
You know what I'd like to have? I'd like to have death to your lateness.
Huh?
I would like to commit death to your lateness. That's the title of this episode.
Death to lateness.
No, it's death to beast mode.
Oh.
But like I think we should make another episode, death to Lauren's lateness.
Oh, be done with it.
And we like bam.
vanquish it.
we
Vanquish it once and for all.
once and for all and help you. And we
I
help you
love that.
understand why you're like how do you get faster at accomplishing what you're going to do so that you can be on time.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I do too. We're gonna Patreon.
Patreon.
We're going to figure it out. We're going to help her out.
Ooh, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be
I'm
fun.
here to serve you, Lauren. I'm here to serve you.
Ooh, rip it.
Or I'm here to tell you just got served. One of the two.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Be
already feel myself getting nervous for the future.
No. You shouldn't be nervous.
you're
You should be
always-
excited. Change should be a good thing. Change
Change-
could be fun and
Change
exciting.
can be fun and a good thing, but
Opportunities.
I don't know. Sitting in these chairs with both of you, I get nervous.
Why?
I don't know. Y'all make me nervous. We should be starting this podcast by now.
Why do you get nervous? Let's examine this.
No,
let's
not.
unpack that.
No, I'm not paying you for this time.
Let's unpack. No, it's free.
Completely free. Wow. He
No,
doesn't
no,
give
no.
anything for free either. So
Yeah,
that's-
you know me.
Wow.
I don't do free.
I would be honored.
Yeah, you get your first free session. This is it.
That's
Oh.
So if you want to come back, it'll cost you $70 an hour at least. So I forgot what I was saying.
We're gonna unpack her.
No, we don't got that kind of time, honestly.
Okay, that's
I was gonna say you're talking about like a whole series of episodes.
Yeah,
be the pulp.
it would be like one of those.
There's not enough tissues in this building to withstand that emotional baggage, buddy.
That's just from me crying.
That's not even me. That's all him.
Oh man.
You're
Well-
basically going to be a repeat of what I was hearing yesterday, and James is going to be losing his mind because I'm just going to be like, eh.
I wasn't losing my mind.
I know. I didn't say you were. You would be if you had to sit here and like counsel me for too long.
Lauren, I feel like I've known you long enough and we've dived deep enough into many things that I can handle anything you throw at me.
Oh, no.
Pretty sure.
Keep the juicy stuff.
Pretty
locked down
sure.
Tight.
Yeah, it can't be that juicy. So I think that as we transition from the topic of lateness into the topic of the day, I think it's important for us to set a very high bar of excellence. Last week, even though you weren't here, we talked about. You listened to the podcast.
I did.
obviously. Yeah. What did
Great.
you think?
That was great.
Yeah, it's good. Good podcast. What do you think kind of really hit home for you?
About really kind of talking about the speeds relative.
Okay.
You know, kind of that. I kind of laughed when you talked about why everyone thinks this 9:30 pace is fast.
I honestly was blown away.
That is-
I was thinking that, but I didn't think it was actually going to be true.
Yes.
And then when she started
Well, when I pulled up the data.
the numbers, and I was like, "Oh crap! I think this is actually why."
Oh, and then just by you saying that, I really like the point of you but you were talking about, and you were looking at the Garmin stuff about how everyone's average runs are faster than their actual race times.
Yes.
So they're training faster than they actually race.
Yes.
So I found that like just
That doesn't even make sense, does
makes
it?
no sense.
Makes absolutely no sense, right? So, that kind of got me thinking about, not just about committing to the actual, process of like zone 2, zone 3 training and stuff as well. But, over the weeks, I mean, you've probably experienced this as well. You probably have as well, where, the idea of harder is better.
Yep.
Right? Or more intensity is better. Or and I think the reason people do that oftentimes is because they are trying to get as good as they possibly can as quick as possible.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yep.
Yes.
100%.
That's our.
Yeah. We think that if we push harder, that means we're just going to get that much closer to greatness quicker.
Right. So I've had people, and you could I think you were telling me something about it the other day too, but I had a young lady one time, and she was like, hey, I want to run this time. And it's, 4 months from now or 5 months from now, I think is what it was. And I was like, all right, well, we'll go for it. We just got to commit to the process, and we'll see what happens as we progress, right? But I think you can do it. And the first couple months struggled as far as trying to hitting what the workouts were supposed to be, being consistent. And then I think it was our third meeting, maybe our third meeting. And in that third meeting, everything changed. I want to run more miles. I need to run more miles. I'm going to hit my goal next month when I run this new race that I've decided to run. And I'm like, whoa. Where did all this come from?
Yeah.
We committed to this way out here. Now you're doing this, and you're not even running 20 miles a week, and now you want to run 40? I can handle it. I was like, you told me when you came in, you had injuries, you weren't getting any faster. You're telling me you want to go back to the same thing you were doing. So I was like, what? What is going on? And so it's just well, I'm hitting my goal when I go do this. I'm like, okay. So, I think sometimes the idea of something, people are like, if I just, I don't know, steal my mind, that's all it's going to take to hit this grandiose goal or what have you.
Like the mindset to push through it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm a firm believer in mindset, right?
Yeah.
And pushing and going beyond or whatever. But, that kind of idea, the title is, beast mode or what have you. That's been popularized for a while now, right? And it's that David Goggins mentality.
I was just gonna say, someone went and read the David Goggins biography and was like, I can do anything.
Yeah, stay hard. What's his thing? He has I mean, he has a lot of things. He cusses people out and he tells them they're.
Oh, does he? I've never read his book, but I know a lot of people
freaking
did.
I think it is Stay Hard.
Weak. Is it Stay Hard?
And they have the other guy from here in Texas, Nick Bear, Go One More.
Yeah, but I think that's a little bit different.
No,
I think his idea is a little
no,
different.
but he doesn't. I mean, yes, but I think some of the beast mode people take that
as that.
Cause that guy actually, he has found training. And, if you look at his stuff, it's all progressive. He does marathon training, zone 2 runs.
Yeah, he seems to train.
Yeah,
smart.
he trains smart, so he's not just.
But I think I get because I think I saw a video he did one time about do one more. And it was more of a mindset thing, more of when you feel like you can do one more type thing, specifically in racing and stuff, right? So, but I think honestly we need to put to rest and we need to kill the idea of beast mode, that it's got to be hard, the grind, the hustle, the no days off, the whole if I'm not crushed, then I'm not, if I'm not broken. No pain, no gain type mindset.
Oh man,
I think it's so overrated, and it might be. I think oftentimes not might be. I think it's the thing holding most people back.
I would agree.
Right. So just because it feels right, or it seems like it's the right thing, doesn't always mean that it's the right thing. So pushing harder every day doesn't mean you're going to get the PR. Skipping, an easy or recovery day or a day off so that you can go hard again is not going to do anything, I believe, except for set you up for injury and hitting plateaus. So, I think that if I told you today, if you came to me, and I'm your coach, right, and I told you today that becoming stronger isn't about going out hard every time, but about trusting the process, what do you think your response would be?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Or just the average person?
So, when you first came in, if I told you that.
Old Carlos.
Old Carlos. I'm technically old Carlos now, but the older past Carlos.
Version.
Past Carlos.
Past Carlos, yeah.
Okay.
Because you are the older version of Carlos. This is true.
We're getting technical, but I would almost not kind of believe it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You got to push hard.
It's counterintuitive.
Counterintuitive. Doesn't make sense. Why would I want to go easy? I'm coming to you to make gains, not, train lighter. I'm going to train harder.
Right.
Deal. So
You're coming to me to get those secret hard workouts.
yes, the secret hard workouts. I'm not here to do
the vest workouts.
Yes.
Yeah.
The vest. Yes. Absolutely. Give me a weighted vest and we're running with it. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What about you, Lauren?
Past Lauren, yeah, I'd say I'd probably be in a similar boat. Like if you said you're gonna trust the process, it's not gonna be all pedal to the metal. I would probably be like, I don't know if this guy knows what he's talking about. Like I need to be the best I can be, like ASAP, and it's not gonna be doing like easy days and like stuff like that. I need to be like hitting the ground already sprinting. So yeah, I would say I'd probably be in the same boat.
Okay.
I think what she said, ASAP.
ASAP.
That is like, we need it now.
We need it now. We want the results now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge is the idea of patience, the idea of waiting for it, letting it develop and letting it mature, letting it marinate. We were talking a little bit in, the Patreon a little bit that what I found is the things that tend to have the best payoffs and dividends and are the most enjoyable are the things that you take your time with, right? You let it mature, you let it grow, you let it happen without trying to rush it too much, So, so what do you think then? Because we obviously should be, I believe, of the same mind in this. But what do you think the biggest problem with that beast mode kind of culture is, or that David Goggins stay hard mentality is?
You're not getting the recovery. You're not letting your body. You're just overloading the body, and just in my experience, dealing with people training, it's almost like a vicious cycle. They'll train hard for 4 or 5 days, or maybe even longer, maybe a couple weeks, and then their body just breaks down.
Yep.
They can't continue training, and so they give what their body needs, rest.
Yep.
They rest it just because they can't lift their shoulder, or whatever the issue is, their knee hurts, and so they get that rest, and 4 or 5 they start feeling better.
Yep. And here
they
we go
right back to that cycle. And so it's just kind of a vicious cycle. Whatever gains you kind of think you're making, you're doing 2 steps back. A step forward, 2 steps back, and just in a vicious cycle of not really making any gains. Just in this kind of perpetual loop of just injured training, or I say maybe not injured, but just your body is just broken down.
Okay. What about you, Lauren? What do you think the biggest problem with that kind of mindset is, or that culture, I guess?
I think it's definitely every workout needs to be like as hard or harder than the last one. I think that's a really, really dangerous mindset to walk in with. And I've had to personally talk to some of our members who are doing like 2 days, like they're doing 2 classes back to back, or they're, doing one hard effort after the other. And they're talking about like things maybe hurting, or maybe I'm seeing that they're just not performing at their best because I can tell that they're kind of tired and fatigued. I'm like, why do you need to do all these hard efforts back to back? Like, it's okay to come in, do work, but do half the weight.
Yeah.
You don't have to, not everything has to be your max weight. Not everything should be your max weight. Max weight should be like 1 effort a week or 2 efforts a week, depending on how many you're doing. But, aren't you, and I always ask them, aren't you tired all the time? If you're tired, you don't have to live tired all the time. We don't do what we do to be healthier and live longer, better lifestyles to be tired all the time. What kind of life is that? So yeah, I think it's every workout has to be a massive grind.
Yeah. Well, I do think that, there's this false belief that intensity equals progress.
And yeah.
So if you want the big gains, you're going to have to go big time hard, right? And I think some of it is because of, we've mentioned it before, but it's because of the popularized social media stuff, right? The glamorized videos and stuff of people doing, hard stuff, or, I saw some video a guy put out. It was called "The World's Toughest Mile" or something like that, and it's
Is that the track thing?
Yeah, it's 400 meters of burpees,
Somebody
400
asked me to do
meters or
that.
whatever, right? But I don't think that's a thing he does all the time. I just think it's something like a workout.
It was
he
a
had
social
done.
media thing. I think he did
more than anything. But people see that, even though he doesn't train like that, because I'm familiar with the guy, how he trains. He does a lot of zone 2, a lot of whatever, very consistent in his training. But people see those things, right? And those are the things that they gravitate to, the things they grab hold to. And well, if I do this, I'm going to look like this guy, right? Or I'm going to be as fit as this person. So, I think, as you say, when there's no recovery, that probably is going to equal little to no results.
Yeah.
Because, in progression, in fitness and working out, most of your growth doesn't actually come from the workout, but it comes in between the workouts, right? There's this old proverb that says, there's a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof is death. Okay. So it just basically means that, for a lot of us, we think, we have these ideas of what the right way to do thing is or what the right direction is, but it just leads us down this path of just like failure or destruction, So like for me, for years, like I always thought that, if I wanted to be better at running or faster at running, I had to run faster. In my mind, I thought that if I wanted to level up at being a good OCR racer, I was going to have to stop being a little baby, and I was going to have to start running faster. And as I got faster, then I could run even faster. And that was the only way that was going to happen. And I was very wrong because I wasn't running that much mileage, like very little mileage, less than 10 miles a week. I was hurt. I couldn't get further than like 4 or 5 miles without my knee, like my IT band.
And you were pushing the runs.
And yeah, right. And I really wasn't even pushing them.
Yeah.
Like I pushed them in the beginning, and then at the end I was slowing way down, And so, in that, I was like, well, I guess I'm just not a good. I can't run. It's just like running's not good for you. And so it seemed like it was right to go harder, but in that it just led me down this like path of freaking where my training was going to die. Right.
Yeah.
It was just like that was the only direction that it was taking me. So I think the biggest thing is that it may seem right to outwork and outsweat and like outgrind everybody, but really without structure, without wisdom, without a good plan, and without direction, you're really not going to lead anywhere but failure, I think.
Yeah, you're not going to maximize the gains.
Yeah.
Like you said, with a good structured plan, you can get so much better results.
Yeah. There it is. Am I just blowing your mind so much?
No, I was like, I didn't.
Don't get nervous.
No, I didn't get nervous. I didn't think that I was just letting him talk.
She's doing the
Porky Pig.
do the Porky Pig thing again. Stop messing with me, James.
I just didn't have anything to add to the comment, so I was letting it continue.
I don't agree with that, Lauren. I think you always have something to add. I think you always have a nugget of wisdom.
Well, I don't want to be repetitive. If it basically mirrors what he says, then it's like,
Yeah.
I don't need to always like. I'm practicing.
There it is. Keep doing it.
I'm practicing not always.
Have you
feeling
been
like I'm
practicing your Porky Pig
Yes.
in the off season?
Just go.
Yep.
Just go. What he said.
Yes.
He
Just
said.
go. What he said.
Yeah.
What he said.
I concur.
That's what I'm going to start to. I concur.
Ditto.
Ditto. Or I concur. One of those two. We'll gladly accept either answer.
So
Yeah.
I think to get where it is you want to go, I think there's, we obviously have the 5 golden rules that we operate off of for everything, and a big part of those golden rules is, what we call progressive overload, right? So that's a very popularized training technique. So we use it in our training regimen. A lot of weightlifters and, even runners use progressive overload. And I think sometimes people don't really, maybe they don't understand necessarily exactly what progressive overload is.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that you say that because I was talking about deloading. I had to do an event in Austin for a gym, and there was a Q&A afterwards, and people were always asking me about my type of training. And I mentioned progressive overload, and I mentioned deloading, and legit, like a coach asked me,
Why did you whisper it?
I don't know. I think I was like this
Coach. Were they black?
Heaven
I know. That's what I feel.
Heaven forbid a coach asked me, well, what is deloading? And like they were dead serious. I was like, oh, like some people really have no idea what these terms mean. They just like walk in the building and you would hope a coach would know. But like a lot of people don't know what these terms mean. And so like when you like kind of start to actually go into the science of it, you can like kind of see the gears really turning and like they're just trying to like grasp all this new information you're giving them. I'm like, wait, there's more than one way.
Well, why don't you define for our listeners, because maybe they don't know necessarily exactly what progressive overload is. Why don't you define for them what progressive overload is?
I define progressive overload as gradually increasing either your weight, your intensity, maybe your time that you're training on, I would say on a weekly. So like what we always talk about, the 10% being one of the 5 golden rules. So you're increasing by 10% So you're gradually gaining a little more resistance. You're gradually adding that time on, so you're not putting it all, that intensity all in your body at once.
Mm-hmm.
And so your body can like gradually adapt. That's the word I'm looking for. Adapt to the stimulus you're giving it.
Yeah, that's a good definition.
Thank
I mean,
you.
it takes your body about 4 to 6 weeks to adapt to any type of new stimulus. And so, as part of the learning process for your body, if every week you are increasing the load a small amount, right? We usually go off of 10%.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call the 10%
Yeah.
rule. Then what you're doing is as your body adapts each week, you're progressively overloading based off of what you've done before. And that's what helps to break that muscle down. And then in that recovery process, in between those workouts, you're getting stronger, right?
Yes.
Or you're getting fitter or faster or what have you. And so the whole goal should be to challenge your body, past or beyond the point of your current fitness. And so I've seen this a lot lately, and I think it's just because we're seeing more and more athletes come in from different backgrounds and, different places. And, you see they are consistent, like in their training, right? They're training like a lot, like they're doing a lot of efforts throughout the week. But then what I have noticed, and you guys can, if y'all see something different, and if I'm being unfair or what have you, please let me know. But what I have seen is like what it always looks like is it always looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like every time they do a clean, it's the same amount of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they're pushing a sled, they don't even know how much weight's on the sled. They're just pushing a sled, right? And making it look hard on social media, what have you. And, when I see that, I want to challenge that, because here's what I want to challenge is, number one, I think that it's important to do a lot of easy efforts, right? Because that allows you to do a lot of volume.
Mm-hmm.
Volume's king. But when it's time to go hard or do hard stuff, I think you really have to challenge yourself in those hard efforts. So part of doing the easy stuff is so that you have the energy and the strength to be able to go hard when it's time to go hard. And so I think sometimes people are maybe intimidated or scared to really push themselves in those moments, because maybe they feel like they're going to fail or they can't handle it. And so that's what's so beautiful, I think, about the 10% rule is because, if this week, and that 10% rule can apply to, like you mentioned it, I think you did a good job of explaining it, either time, intensity, load or weight, duration, what have you. So on any one of those, or rest, right? You could lower the rest in between, and that makes the workout way different. So that increases the overall capacity or load of the actual workout. And so when they step into that new territory, it's very intimidating.
Yes.
And they're like, I can't do this. I can't, whatever. I can't. Always I can't. And
before they've even touched anything.
Before they've even touched it, or they've even done anything, So, if you are trying to get stronger, there's very traditional ways. I always kind of harken back to, like, most people at the gym train like bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Like short bursts.
No, it's like they do back and buys, they do
yeah.
chest and tries,
Yes.
shoulders, they do legs, whatever, but they're not actually training like a bodybuilder. They're creating, and they're not even creating a workout plan. They're just going in and saying, this is what I'm doing today. Yeah, I usually do back and buys on Mondays. I do lats on Tuesdays, and then I like to superset. I don't even know what a superset freaking means, what the word, what it means. But like, they're very traditional bodybuilding style workouts.
Mm-hmm.
But even in those workouts that the bodybuilders are doing, most of them are doing these crazy amounts of like weight, like high weight. They're constantly progressing the weight up. They may be doing short sets. And it changes, right, from training block to training block. And so, and I don't know if it's just because it's what they did when they were in high school or just what they've seen on TV. I don't know where they get it from, but like that's the way to train, and that's the smart way and the right way to do it. And so, there is no like progress. They're going to the gym and they're bench pressing, 225s on the bar, and then you come back 6 months later, they're in the gym benching 225s on the bar.
Can't figure out why they plateaued,
and they don't know why they're not getting any stronger.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, I work out every week.
Well, and I think another thing that I've actually kind of started experiencing with some of the people who train with me in my classes is when I do my classes tend to be a little more, I guess, dynamic in terms of like the movements I choose. So certain times I'll tell people like get a lighter weight for what we're doing because it might be a higher rep. So I don't want you to like gas out after like 5. I've talked to one member who she we'll grab something heavier, and I'll tell her, why don't you grab a second set just in case, because I really want you to try to hit the numbers, and I don't want you to get discouraged if you get burnt out or if you really start hurting bad. And she told me, like, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like I'm going backwards. And I said, well, we're going a higher rep. There's no going backwards. Like, I want you to be able to complete it. If you can't complete it, then what's the point of grabbing the heavier weight? So we had to have a whole discussion about how she's used to training with one of those tonal systems that are at your house. Those are very like static workouts. They have you do exactly in the bicep, and then you're doing reverse fly, and then that's all it is. There's no like dynamic movement involved. So now coming to a place where maybe the movements transition you between machines and like to workouts, to burpees, dynamic movements, more functional fitness, it's a completely new ballgame for her. So she is fighting some of these frustrations with having to go back on maybe some of the things she's done before, because she's having to kind of relearn how to do how to work out in certain ways.
Because at one point she thought something was the right way, and it wasn't.
Exactly.
Or it isn't.
Exactly.
You know?
And it wasn't serving her.
No, I mean, if it was, she wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
I would think, right?
I told her, I think I can see the differences being made already in the short time you've been here.
Well, I will say this, that oftentimes too, because I make mention of this, and this might be something I would encourage more than anything else, is, think of it less of like, going backwards, because sometimes you do have to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. But more so is that what I see a lot of people do, they do this on the rowers, the skiers, the bikes, they do it on the sleds, they do it on their, in their workouts. Like, they know I grab the 15s when I go work out. That's what they do. We know no matter if it's 10 reps or if it's 20 reps, I grab the 15s, when I'm skiing, it's always the same. Like, what was your split for that 30 seconds? Crickets. All right, we just did 1,000 meters. What was your split? Crickets. Because they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
They're not like focused on it. They're just I don't want to say mindlessly going through the motions, but that's, for the most part, that's kind of what they're doing, right? They're just going through, getting the workload done, but we're not concentrating. We're not being deliberate about what we're doing. So we're not trying to keep a pace. We're not getting a concept that, hey, maybe since I'm only going for 30 seconds, I should go faster. My strokes per minute should be higher. Oh, I'm going for 2,000 meters. I should be slower. I should be more engaged. So it's those types of things that I think really lend to, why people do plateau or don't get any stronger, is because there's no deliberate intentionality with what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like that effort level stays the same
Always
constantly.
the same.
It could be a really hard workout or easy workout. They're right in the middle, just kind of coasting through.
And the only difference is just how hard it falls off toward the end, and that's usually based on how long the workout is.
Yeah.
And so what I'm hopefully trying to instill in people and teach people is, okay, when you're doing 12 to 20 reps, you can handle this much weight this week. Well, if we're doing the same block for the next 4 weeks, and let's say you grab the 10s, well, next week, maybe you grab the 12s.
Yeah.
We're going to do the same similar repetitions. Next week, maybe you grab the 15s, and then, you keep track of that so that that's how you get progression, is by realizing, when you're pushing the sled, I see it all the time. People just stack the sled up. They just throw a weight on it until you can't throw any more weight on it. But they're not looking at the weight. They're not seeing, did I grab 45s or 35s, because there's plates that are all the same size, right? We've got 45 plates that are exact same size as the 35-pound plates.
How much are they pushing this week versus last week? Is
right.
it just the same? Are they,
Are they pushing the same amount of weight? Are they doing a further distance, a shorter distance? What's the point of pushing the sled this week? Is it to build strength? Is it to build endurance? What are you trying to do with what it is on this thing? Like, is it supposed to be like a workout, or is it supposed to be like a challenging workout, And so, definitely adding, intentionality, I think, is super important. But, specifically, if we're talking about like progressive overload, there's pretty much only 4 ways to do progressive overload. You mentioned some of them. So like increasing volume. So you would add more reps, more sets, more weight, but you increase like the overall volume of time, I guess not weight, but you would increase more of something, right?
Yeah.
There's intensity. So you run faster, you move from one station to the next faster or quicker. You shorten the rest, so you don't take as much time in between the sets. You can increase frequency, so you train more often. That means if you're training 3 days a week now, maybe next week you train
4 days a week.
4 days a week. And then there's complexity. You increase complexity. So you go from doing, say a curl to maybe a curl to a shoulder press, right? You add, compound movements into a new movement pattern, or, something like, instead of just running fast, maybe you try to run fast up a hill, right? So you're increasing that complexity. Those are the 4 ways. If you want to increase your overall, if you want to have progressive overload, that's how you do it. But here's how I do it and how I would suggest. You don't add all 4 in 1 week. You add one thing per training block. So if I have somebody that I'm training and, we start out running 3 days a week, well, this week we may run 3, next week some of those runs may be a little bit longer, the next week some of those runs may be a little longer. But before we ever make one of those, there may be a point where we stop making them longer because they don't justify, the volume. Okay. So like let's say you're running 12 days a week, 12 miles a week. Okay. So if you're running 12 miles a week, honestly, 4 miles is the longest your long run should be. That's it. Okay. Well, that means you should be running the rest of that mileage over, however many days you have left. How many days did we say we're running? 3 or 4?
4?
Don't remember.
Oh my God.
I know.
So, go back to the tapes.
All right. Well,
Sorry, you caught me at the 12 days a week thing.
Yeah. That's what you're focused on the wrong thing.
Gosh, that's my kind of.
So, but if we're just to do the math, right, there's 8 miles left. If you're running 12, you ran 4, there's only 8 left. Yep. Well, we're not going to have a 5 and a 3.
No.
We're not going to do a 4 and a 4 because they're all long runs. So that means we probably need to add another day. Yep. So maybe we have 2 days that are like 3 miles and we have 1 day that's only 2 miles. Yeah. So now we're running 4 miles, so we've got it spread out a little bit more. Well, if it's 10%, well, 10% of 12 is 1 for the most part. So we'd only add 1 mile. So I'd probably add that 1 mile to the 2 mile run because I don't want to make any other runs long runs. Yeah. Or I'd maybe split, like maybe take a half mile, put it on one, half mile, put it on another. Yeah. So by the end of that training block, you're still only running 4 days, but maybe all those days are like 3, 3, and 4, 3, 3, 3, and 4. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, then the next block, because I'm trying to get that mileage up, we might add another day because we don't have enough to justify having a longer long run. Yeah. So we're increasing the intensity by adding more days rather than adding, more overall volume on one particular run. So understanding like the law of progression and understanding like there's kind of these parameters you want to stay within that help you. And so it makes it, I think it makes it really simple, right? So I think sometimes people get caught up on rules, right? They're like, well, rules are meant to be broken. And I honestly think what rules allow us to do is they bring more freedom than anything else. And they bring order into the chaos. Okay, now are there some rules or some things that I think can be bent or maybe they're situational based off of what? Yes. But for the most part, what I think rules really do is they help give us these parameters to work within to give us guidance. Yeah. And give us like this pathway. Mm-hmm. So if you think about like if we go out and do a trail run today. Yeah. Right? And we run across a field. Okay, you got a grass field. Can you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
But you may step into a hole.
Okay, is there a bear? I don't know. You said grass field. I'm waiting for there to be something. You said a hole, so I'm like, there's got to be something about this.
Why
field.
would there be a bear?
I don't know. You said a field. I was waiting for something.
Are bears usually in fields in Houston, Texas?
Could be a lost bear. Jeez. Bad direction. Snake.
Thank you. Okay, I'll take that.
I think
a bear
talked about before.
We have listeners in other parts of the world of bears.
But she surprises you
every freaking time.
She'll throw that curveball out of nowhere.
Our listeners who are in Colorado, y'all have bears. Y'all know. You're welcome.
Yeah, when you're running in a random field, a bear just comes out and gets you.
Yeah.
They come out of those bear holes in the ground.
Our Canada and Alaska listeners are like, oh yeah, that bear. Yogi Bear in the mountains.
Anyway, you're running through a field. It looks flat. It's grassy. The grass is, say, ankle knee deep. You could easily step into a hole. You could easily step on a snake. Right?
That's
you could roll your ankle because you don't see
rocks.
The rolls, the rocks, the whatever. Now you move over to a trail that's been cut and cleaned. It's single track. It may have the same holes. It may have the same rock. It may have the same snake. But now you've created a path or you've created like a visual representation of rules Now you can step over those things. You can get past them, and now you know where to go.
That's a really good analogy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's what I do. So I think that if we can like not be afraid of rules, and we understand that there's a lot of freedom and a lot of help in those rules, then if we apply those to training specifically, then it makes creating a training plan way easier than I think. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed when we talk about training plans, right? So, and progression and all that other stuff. So, the first way I think to really establish what your progression should look like is understanding how much to progress at one time. And for us, we always talk about the 10% rule.
Yep.
So we don't ever increase our weekly volume, our distance, our weight more than 10% a week.
Mm-hmm.
It prevents injuries. It encourages like a better or more sustainable adaptability. And then on top of that, it helps us get these like small wins, right? It stacks up these wins over and over again.
Sometimes people think if they're not really super sore after a workout, they're like, that wasn't a great one. It's kinda like, that's not really, it just means you did something your body was not able to kind of.
It wasn't ready for it.
You overloaded your body. It's a little bit of soreness is always good, but where you, like, I can't move my arms. Like, it's not, you didn't really win there. Your body, you just overloaded your body too
that's
much.
probably a sign that you went a little too hard.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, do I think that once a week or twice a week, based on your load, what you're doing, right, that you should push it and be hurting a little bit for a day or so? Yeah. But that's what recovery is for, right? So, for those people who are doing like high volume, okay? So you mentioned the whole 2-a-days thing. I don't see anything wrong with doing 2-a-days if your volume justifies it.
100%.
If you've progressed up to that level.
100%.
But if you're starting out and you've been working out twice a week, you've got no business doing 2-a-days.
Yeah.
You just need to be doing 3 a weeks. You know what I'm saying? You need to get to 4 a weeks first before you ever worry about freaking double workouts in a day. But once you get to that volume, then what ends up happening is you understand the concept of an effort can be a recovery effort.
Yeah.
So, and how we space those out, right? So like, for some of my athletes that have the volume, I'm talking like they're running 50, 60, 70 miles a week, or, they're doing, bike rides and swims and stuff like that. We might do a run in the morning and we might do a bike ride at night.
Mm-hmm.
And the bike ride is specifically meant to give them aerobic capacity. Mm-hmm. It's an effort, but it's also meant to help them with recovery.
Yeah.
And then that sets them up because maybe Monday morning they're going to do a hard effort. And then Monday night they might do an easy run. They might do a swim. They might do like a yoga session or like a stretch and restore or something to help them prepare so they can get over the soreness, break up that, that lactate and help those muscles recover quicker so that they can progress on Thursday or Friday, whenever their next hard effort's going to be. And so we're stacking these efforts up and we're stacking this volume, but everything is very specific in that this workout, and this is how I always try to explain it to everybody. The workout I do today sets me up for the workout I'm going to do tomorrow.
So if you kind of look like a chart, it'd be almost like peaks and valleys kind of deal. So you see
Constant.
the high effort and then followed by a low effort. And, and sometimes you might stack them, but like you said, if the volume justifies. If the
volume and the fitness.
Yeah, and the fitness. Like
right?
for me, we just started doing the 2 hard efforts.
Yeah.
But they're not super long.
Right.
One's like a 15-minute tempo run in the morning and then come running hills with you, which is not, it's 4 or 5 miles, but the hills are, maybe a mile or two short. So
it's not a ton
2
of
hard efforts on the same day, but they're spread out kind of. But like I said, the fitness and volumes have been over time to get to that point.
And there's science behind that. I mean, we're not just randomly picking stuff out, but there's science behind, doing multiple lactate threshold efforts in one day. But if you don't have the aerobic capacity to justify it, it's just going to lead to injury.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're going to say, like what?
No. I'm just saying, just kind of what you were saying, if the fitness doesn't justify it. Like if you're only running twice a week, you should, no business kind of trying to cram everything on one day.
Right. So I think, when we go from progression, the next thing is like flowing into like periodization. And so, I think sometimes we use these words and it always cracks me up a lot of times when you listen podcasts or watch people, especially in the CrossFit world. I love like people talking in the CrossFit world because, and maybe it's just because people who work out have always been like considered meatheads. They're like, they're not
gym rats.
We're not very
meatheads.
smart, right? We're not very intelligent. And so I feel like they're always trying to sound smarter than they are. And they like try to use these like modality and, periodization and progression. They're trying to use all these like really, they're not even buzzwords. They're just, what's the guy, the Huberman? effect or
A
Huberman
Huberman effect.
or Huberman show or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's
we
like,
talked
he's
about it
actual,
before.
he's a professor at like Columbia University or something like that. You know, he's got I think either a PhD or something, and like exercise science or whatever. He's very chill and very calm in his demeanor and his talk. And he has a very, very popular podcast, extremely popular,
Huberman Lab.
Huberman Lab.
That's what it is. We've talked about it before.
And he does like he'll get involved in like different research studies and stuff like that. If that guy comes around here and he's talking about all these whatever, okay. He actually practices it. He's very fit. He works out and everything. He seems very knowledgeable. He's studied. He's done the tests and the science stuff, whatever. When freaking
Joe Schmo.
Coach Jimmy or whatever over at, CrossFit WOD starts talking about all this stuff, it just cracks me up because I'm like, do you even know what any of that stuff freaking means? So, like, it always just tickles me a little bit when people use big words. And we use them because we want to sound like
we want to sound smart, like people should invest in us.
Listen to what I'm saying because I obviously know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
But then when we talk about it, you don't know what the heck I'm talking about because you don't know what it is.
It's talking the talk without really being able to walk the walk.
Right. So I like to break things down very elementary, right? I don't care if you think I sound stupid. That's fine. I'm not really that smart anyway. But instead of using like progressive overload and periodization, that's why I use the 10% rule. That's why I use stuff like the 80-20 principle. That's why I use stuff like, we put these numbers to, make it very hard and very, very plain and very elementary to understand what it is that we're talking about. And so when we say now we're transitioning to periodization basically it's very simple. You do something for a certain period of time and then you do something else. And so throughout periodization, we talk about how the body can adapt or the body will change to whatever like stimulus or whatever challenge you're giving it within 4 to 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. So if we train for a 4 to 6 week period on something specific, we're going to get good at that specific thing or we'll get better. And the more times we load those blocks together, the more time we load those 4 to 6 weeks up doing very specific things repetitively, the better we're going to get at those individual things. So periodization for us, I think, is specific because we do multiple things, right? We run 5Ks, we run 10Ks, we run marathons, we do obstacle course races, we do HYROX. Maybe we do HYROX more than we do everything else, but we still do these other things. And so with periodization, you can have a long-standing, consistent thing that you're training for, mm-hmm. but then as, say, a marathon approaches 3 or 4 months out, you start focusing specifically on marathon training and you change up the periodization that you're doing to prepare you specifically for a marathon. So maybe you don't lift as much weight. Maybe you're not doing all these, high intensity, compromise run workouts or what have you. You're building your volume a little bit higher. And so maybe you keep some of those other things in because your body's adapted to it and you can handle it, but you do it on a smaller scale because you're replacing it with more running.
Yeah.
Because, I think we talked about this the other day. The body only has so much bandwidth.
Yeah.
Of how much load you can put on it and time as well.
Yeah.
It's very tough to do. Obviously, you've trained for a marathon. I think you have too. Just the time it takes to run, and then
it's a lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of time, and bandwidth on the body. So you can't just continue doing 4 or 5 strength workouts and all that mileage. Or you maybe could, but you may be running the risk of injury.
Yeah. And just life in general, right? Like you got family, you got work, you got, so there's.
You got to live outside the gym.
You do, right?
Unless that is your paycheck.
Well, but
still.
But even then, you still have to. That's my paycheck. But
that's true.
Even with that,
you still have to rest.
I still have to rest.
I still have to spend time.
I got to spend time with my family. I got to cook Wagyu steaks. You know what I'm saying?
American grade.
Yeah. So throughout periodization, there's really like, these kind of 4 things specifically we'll break it down into. There's like, I said 3 really. It's base, right? So that's what you start with.
Yep.
Right. We've got the build.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's as we increase, that's that 10%. We peak.
We peak it.
Right. And then we recover. So base, build, peak, recover.
And would you say the recovery for you is usually like a mirror of the base? It's kind of like you bring it down that far. That what you usually do? Yeah.
So we go off of the IPP, right, which lines up with this, right? So the I is the base period. You introduce something new.
Yep.
Okay. The P is perform it. Okay. So that is the build phase. So
Yep.
you're doing it again, but you usually increase it by 10%. Peak is going to be that peaking. Okay. It's that perfection, right? Introduce, perform, perfect.
Okay.
And so the peak is the perfection. So once again, we've increased it to 10%. The recovery basically just means now we're bringing the load down, we're bringing the intensity, the volume down so that we can benefit from the fitness because fatigue has probably set in by this time.
Yeah.
So you can do that over a 4 or a 6 week period. I like 4 weeks because I just feel like it's really nice and neat. It lines up better with months. It's a little bit easier to like do tapers with and stuff for like different events. And the taper looks different based on the length of the event. And so what you understand is that in each phase, you have a focus. And unlike what most people want, you can't leave at a peaked phase, right? So everybody's looking at their Garmin's, looking at their watches, and it's like productive, unproductive, peaking. Everybody's always so excited when it says peaking.
Yes.
Right? And even if you look on Garmin, it says that on the peaking phase, it's very short-lived. It doesn't last very long. And so none of us can always be peaked and ready to go at all times. We can be fit and ready to go at all times, but we're not going to be at our absolute peak because if you're at your absolute peak, well, how do you continue to grow?
Yeah.
Because growth is going to come from a base of some sort, building, and then peaking. So you're going to have these, I don't want to say like ebb and flows of up and down, but it's more like you climb, you level, you climb, you level, you climb. So it's like a stair step almost as you reach the top of that pyramid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of what you were talking about, you know, each period is what you've set a new base each time.
Yes.
So the base is, you know, whatever, just say mileage, you know, 15 miles, and you go up to 19, 20, then you kind of go back down to, you let the body adapt. But then you're starting that next peak at your highest peak. So now you're starting your base is now your previous peak.
Yes.
19. So it's just forming, you like building up on top of what you just did.
Right. So that's what I always try to explain to people. Like once we get to whatever the goal is, well, I think sometimes people are like, oh, I hit my goal. I can't be any better. And I'm like, no, this is now your new foundation.
Yeah.
You have a whole new other foundation. You know what that
Level up.
means? We can grow to another peak. We can grow to another goal. So this should be exciting because you attained one. Let's go for another one. And so, you know, I think sometimes people, you know, get so caught up in the idea of like being hard and the intensity that they think that's more important than consistency. And I think consistency will overtake intensity every single time. And I think having an understanding and concept of progressive overload and periodization will help you understand the importance of that consistency over the intensity. So you mentioned it earlier, and you were talking about like, you know, they work for 4 or 5 days really, really hard, and they got to take 4 or 5 days off.
Yeah.
Well, if you go by that math, and I've had several come to Jesus meetings with people before, you know, and they're like, oh yeah, well I was able to do this, and I was able to do this. I want to show you something, okay? So in this 4-week training block we were doing, you were supposed to run 3 days a week. Yes? Yes. All right, so 3 times 4. We're doing math again, Lauren. 3 times 4 is what?
Hang on.
12.
That's 12 efforts
12
of running we were supposed to do.
Okay.
Okay? You were supposed to do them all easy.
Easy.
Keep your heart rate down. Now, you ran your first 2 way too hard, and your Achilles started bothering you, your knees started bothering you, so you had to take a couple breaks. So we didn't get the 3rd one in, and then the next week it carried over. You ended up getting the last one in, and so that kind of like progresses throughout the month. And so they end up, on average, instead of doing 3 a week, they end up doing 1 a week. 1 to 2 efforts. They all always say 1 to 2 efforts a week, right?
Yeah.
But really that just translates into I've done 4 efforts total,
Yes.
okay? They just happen to do a couple in 1 week, right? And so instead of doing 12 efforts, they did 4 efforts. So do you think that over a period of 4 weeks, you're going to be fitter from doing 4 workouts that are super intense or 12 workouts?
Obviously 12.
I mean, it would make sense.
Yes.
If we're talking about just logic, right? We're talking about what seems right. Yeah. I would think working out 12 times would get you fitter than 4.
100%.
Right?
That sounds exhausting.
It's 12 efforts, dude.
I know.
Probably do that in a week.
It is what I do in a week. You're right, and I'm tired.
So
The whole time you were doing that, she was nervously thinking you were going to
yeah.
ask her.
I know.
Math.
I'm trying to like figure out. I'm sitting here trying to keep track of all these numbers and all that. I'm like, I'm waiting for all this.
What
big
all
math
these
to happen.
numbers?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm sitting here saying math, Lauren. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for the math. There was no
All right.
math. There
We
was
always
no-
know James likes to throw that pop quiz at us at the end.
Yeah.
We're
I'm
just-
going to ask you,
Yeah.
how many efforts did we end up doing last week?
And I'm gonna be like,
Yeah. So I think part of the challenge is, and this is what I struggle with some of my people with, is like the concept of listening to understand rather than just listening without the desire of understanding what's being communicated. You're just hearing words. It's like the Peanuts characters.
wah, 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 wah,
Right.
wah,
I
wah.
think we've been together so long, that's all you hear me say. You're not hearing anything.
She hasn't heard a single. It's
Not
just
one word I said.
block
right?
noise. Just.
It's just white noise. What it is.
Well, what were the color of sounds? Yeah, there
There it is. That's
her
all
favorite.
she
Yes,
freaking
that's-
hears. So, if you're able to stack up workouts week after week, month after month, consistently, over time, every month for over a year, how can you not be in a better place rather than having to take a break every 6 weeks because you're hurt, having to stop because for a month or whatever, or you've got a stress fracture so you can't work out for 2 months or what have you? Like, how can you possibly think that that would not be better than the other?
Yeah. Just kind of talking about the workouts stacking on top of each other. I've had a few athletes do races.
Yep.
And they're like, well, I've never run that distance. But you're running 20 miles a week.
Yep.
It's good that volume that each workout is gonna your overall volume has increased.
Yeah.
Just it's not always running the race to do the race.
Right.
Like I mean, how many you train a lot more run clients than I do, but how many people have you probably heard like doing the marathon? What do you mean we're not going to run 26.2 beforehand? I'm sure you.
Dude, I had a young lady last year. I was working with her. She was, she was at one of these classes I would teach that's off campus. And, she'd been running for a while, and she came to my classes for about a year before we started really before we started working together. But I would give her little tips like I do, I'm always trying to be helpful. And, she would always say something like, oh, I can't run any slower than I'm running. I just never will be any faster. My knee bothers me. So finally, after enough time, she worked up the courage to let me coach her. So she asked me to coach her. And so, in the first 2 or 3 months, it was tough, because getting her to slow down.
Yeah.
And, as we were building the volume, as we were doing everything, all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I feel so good. I really am enjoying running. And, my knees aren't hurting me. My shins aren't bothering me anymore. It was just like,
You're like, don't say.
I was like, oh, that's crazy. And so as we approach, she wanted to run a half marathon. And the ultimate goal, she said, someday I want to run a sub 2 hour marathon, half marathon. And so, as we were approaching the race, she was like, are we going to get to 13 miles? And we just didn't have time. We couldn't justify the mileage based off of what she was doing on a weekly basis. So I said, no, but we'll get to 10, and that'll be more than enough. If we'll get to 10, so that means we're probably going to max out on 35 miles or so. With a 10-mile long run, you're going to crush that half. And she's like, I just don't know if I can do that. And I was like, usually, this was her response. Usually I get to 13 or 14 miles in a long run. I was like, how's that worked out for you? And she kind of looked at me kind of like, how dare I say it? She was kind of taken back a little bit. And I was like, because you say you were hurt every time, and you haven't been any faster than this time, and you haven't really improved in 3 or 4 years, so why don't we just try it this way and let's see if it works. And if not, well, then you can tell me I was wrong. And so we got to a 10-mile long run. And a good chunk of that was at a 9-minute pace, because we did speed work and we did some whatever. And it was amazing. She went out and she ran her half marathon. She ran a 1:59 exactly.
Nice.
She ran exactly what we trained for. She got a 12-minute PR or something like that.
She super excited.
And she was very excited. And she was also a little in disbelief that she was able to do that. And she said she's never worked that hard in a race before, but she said she was really scared because when she hit 10 miles, she hadn't been past that.
Okay.
Right. And she was like, so I didn't know I was like, you have been past that because this isn't your first half marathon. But what's crazy is you were able to push at the end. Yes. She's like, yep. And I was like, so you didn't slow down at the end? No. Did you go faster at the end? Yes. So we put in the weekly volume. We put in consistent efforts over a period of 6 months. And that, you were rewarded with that, running slower and running consistently with a 12-minute PR, faster than you've ever ran. And do your knees hurt? No. Are you sore? No. Do your ankles hurt? Do your shins hurt? No. Look at that. So, I mean, there's story after story I could tell where people have done it. It's simply this. It's being very deliberate, progressing, and not having this mentality where like I have to crush my soul and my spirit every single day. Consistency. It's kind of like that old saying where like, hard work will outwork talent when talent doesn't work hard. Well, what it comes down to, in my opinion, is consistency will overcome intensity every time when intensity's hurt.
Yeah, and if you do an intense every day, it's just that what you think is intense, that is going down each day.
Every single day.
It's just slowly going down.
Every single day. That intensity level, even though it feels harder, is less intense.
Because your body's tired.
Your body can't handle it. Well, that's what I was going to ask you, and I'm sure I know the answer to both y'all, this question for y'all. And where you have your people that you train and they are like, I have to do hard every day. Like they have the mentality of every workout every day needs to be really, really tough. But when you do get them to finally kind of fall into the rules and back up on the efforts and then give them one workout a week that's like challenging what they've been doing, and then they just like freak out that it's too much for them. I see you you're smiling a little bit.
No, I'm just, actually me and James were just kind of talking about this.
Because I kind of experienced that with somebody recently where they're doing a lot of efforts. And then I challenged them on something that I knew they could do, and they're like, it's too uncomfortable. I'm like, well, yeah, this is what we're going to work for. And instead of you working every day to failure, we're going to work where maybe twice a week we're really pushing to failure. And then they'll also be throwing little tantrums on the floor, but it'll be for good reason.
I mean, you throw tantrums on the floor.
Just me throwing tantrums on the floor.
I literally threw.
She's talking about herself in third person.
Yes.
This person is Lauren for the listeners.
This person is Lauren. It's me, guys.
I just started training a lady online training with workouts. And I met her before, and she was a very high intense person. And so I was like, okay, she did HYROX before, so we kind of sat down, looked at her running, was just a little bit over the place, nothing consistent. So I was like, all right, we're going to start. We're going to just do consistent running, easy running. And she had a few, like she wanted to do like a high intense, like hot, almost like a HIIT yoga class in her workout. I was like, okay, so we're going to have that in there. We know, but we're going to do an easy run with that. And to kind of mix the days and kind of right off the bat, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. She's hit her runs, like easy runs.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm surprised. She's like, this is her third week now. She's like, I'm able to run and hold a heart rate down. Every run has been easy. Like, 130s, 135s, brought a tear to my eye. I was so happy. It was just, coach doesn't need any more gray hairs.
That's exactly right. Well, I think if you can get yourself to the place where you can just trust the process, I think that's the big takeaway is patience is a virtue. It truly is, right? When you try to rush things, when you try to make something happen outside of the timeline of necessity, I think you create undue problems and issues that you don't have to deal with. And so trusting the process, taking the time to go through it and learn from each effort. Take each effort as a win or a loss. If it's a loss, it's fine. If you maybe went out and you were supposed to run easy and you didn't, well, remember how you felt. Remember how you felt after that run and the next day and the day after that, and remind yourself next time, I don't want to feel like that again. The goal of this is to get the aerobic capacity and build endurance. It's not to feel like crap. And so take the wins, take the losses, learn from each one, and understand. I had someone, so I'm coaching another person that, I just recently started coaching them, and I've been talking to them now for a little while, trying to give them some tips. That's usually how it works. People come up and they try to get the free tips, right? They're asking me questions, and I freely give the information. I'm always freely giving it because I want to help people. But I can always tell that they don't necessarily really understand how to like implement it. And like when I say easy, I don't think they comprehend it. They think they're doing it, and then the moment they finally come to me and they're like, all right, let's show me what to do. Let's actually do this together. Then like the first month is like, none of these are easy. You're not running easy. Their heart rate zones will be all over the place, right? They'll like have a max heart rate of like 230, and they're like 80 years old or something. Like, no, this isn't accurate. We need to take this down a little bit, right? The Garmin doesn't give you a miss. You're not. I know you're special, but you're not that special. And so we'll have to adjust them and stuff like that. And but I actually had someone this week send me a thing that says, "Oh my God, this is so boring," and it was one of their easy efforts or whatever. And I was like. it'll get better. I promise you'll appreciate it more. I was like, but, honestly, fitness is done. It comes from the unsexy stuff. It comes from the non-boring. It comes from the boring stuff, So you want the best gains. It comes from boring mobility work, boring recovery work, boring runs. Boring tracking your food. You want the biggest gains and you want to become a champion. It's the boring stuff that's going to make it happen.
All those little things.
It's all the little detail-oriented stuff that's going to literally launch you into the next stratosphere. And here's what I think more than anything, what I've learned is you come to not only appreciate, but enjoy the boring stuff. And it makes you actually be very appreciative of it. And, when, I have one person who, she's training for a marathon. She got a huge PR on her marathon. And you know how we do after a hard effort, a race, the week or two afterwards, run if you want to, don't run if you don't want to, reset,
Listen to your body.
Be lazy for a little bit, recover, and then we reverse taper. And so that's it was a month as far as ramping back up again. And she's like, I'm missing it so much. Cause the regimen, you're consistently, you have this thing you're doing and you're accomplishing and you're constantly getting these wins over and over again. And when you're not getting that, it feels weird. Yeah. It feels out of place.
But it's almost a good thing that you, like you said, you take that time off to kind of miss it versus jumping right back in. Maybe you're not ready, and then you're just kind of right back in, and your body's beat up, and this is, then you're really not doing that training block. So that's a great feeling to be missing it, and then you jump right back in.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I do it is because I know how the body needs to recover, but I also know that when you're doing something for an extended period of time with that much effort and consistency, that it can be mentally draining. Getting up early, doing, 60,
Hours.
70, 80 miles a week, that can be mentally draining. And so you need to miss it a little bit so that you can get back on it and remember, you know what, I actually felt alive or strong or better when I was doing it. And so it allows you the ability to ramp back up again without feeling overwhelmed or getting burnt out, right? So, I think really, honestly, the path to mastery isn't really, it's never flashy. It's just in faithfulness. It's just in faithfulness. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and honestly, I'm going to be very transparent. It was not a good conversation. It went south, and it went south quick. And me personally, I would like to think that I'm a pretty patient person, and that I try to be gentle and kind as much as I can, because the Bible talks about what love looks like. In 1 Corinthians 13, it says that love is patient, love is kind. It doesn't keep a record of wrongs. It's gentle. It never gives up. It's long suffering, all this other stuff. And so that's what real love looks like. And so if you really love people, like the Bible says we're supposed to, like God says, He said, love God and love other people. Well, then those are things you need to probably be making sure you're doing. And it can be so freaking hard.
So hard.
It's so challenging sometimes. But you still constantly, even when you mess up and you fail, you're convicted, or you're taken back and you're like, okay, how could I have done that better? How could I have whatever, And so, I had this interaction with someone, and, it got out of control. It got out of control. And I personally lost my stuff. I literally lost my stuff. And, I'm a firm believer that your emotions do not control you. I believe that we have control over our emotions, and it's usually less about that I can't control them. It's more about I don't have the motivation to control them. And so at this point in time, it's like you're mad at me and you're arguing with me, and you can't help yourself but yell at me, but then the phone rings, and all of a sudden you can keep your composure, and you're like, oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? And you hang the phone up, and you're back at yelling at me. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not that you can't control it. It's just a situational type thing, right? And, I had to catch myself. In mid, interaction, I caught myself, and, because I was matching their level of hype.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. I'm a passionate person. Y'all know that. I can get loud, but I'm not like a fighty kind of .
But you're also genuinely you have a loud voice.
Yes.
It carries. So it doesn't take much, honestly, for your voice to really
get up, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I get upset,
just not your headphones though.
Yeah, it just doesn't overcome. That tells you how loud her headphones
It's a different
are.
thing. It's kind of like a dog whistle. It's a different thing.
So, but even that, right? If I get if I'm upset, and I feel like if I'm not communicating effectively, and then someone else is giving me that same level of hype, and it's like butting heads, right? It's like hitting your head against a brick wall type situation, right? I usually am pretty good about keeping my stuff under control because I know that, a soft answer usually turns away an angry answer. So responding in kind usually just creates more issues.
Yeah.
But I lost it. I freaking lost it. And I was loud and I was passionate and I don't know if angry is the word I would use, but I was definitely like emotional. I was definitely emotional. And I had to catch myself, and I did catch myself after a little bit, and I was able to calm the situation down, and we were able to like actually get into it. And like what I was trying to communicate was the importance of faithfulness and the importance of being consistent. It's not about doing the big fancy stuff. It's not about being in charge. It's not about leading and all that other stuff. Honestly, like leading people, I don't think it should ever be somebody's desire, because there's so much responsibility that comes with it, and there's a lot of pressure and accountability that has to come with it as well. But if you're put in a position of leadership, it's probably because you've been faithful in what you've done. You've probably been responsible. You've been matured in these different levels, what have you. And so, but there's another level of accountability that comes with that and responsibility. And so now I'm not just responsible for myself, but I'm responsible for you and for this person and that person. That means everything I tell you or instruct you or encourage you or teach you to do, well, it's not on you as much as it's on me, because I'm the one giving you the instruction. Does that make sense? And so, as we were talking through this, that's what I was trying to communicate in an effective manner. And so I think people want to be important. People want to feel important. People want to be famous. Yeah. People want other people to tell them that they're special and there's great things about them. And
we all just want to be people of value.
That's it. You want to, but what people don't understand is it's less about that and it's more about your faithfulness. And if you are consistent and faithful in little things, then big things come automatically. Respect comes, opportunity comes. But with that also comes more responsibility. More is expected of you. More is required of you. So if you're out there training and you're...
If you want to be a good leader.
Yes.
Like you said.
Yes. If you're going to be the right type of leader.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing applies, I think, in your training. You want to look like you can... Like you're fit. You want to go out and race like a boss. Okay, great. Well, it's going to come from being faithful in the short runs and the easy runs, stacking up and being very deliberate in how you do, being faithful. And then as you have built faithfulness and a foundation of that faithfulness, the next level will mean that now you've developed the responsibility and the maturity to be able to handle the next step. And so everything is a growth process. Everything in life is about growth. And if you're not growing, if you're not learning something new, if you're not being challenged, and if you're not willing to step out of what you think is the right thing to perhaps learn something new, then you're probably never going to grow. Maybe the new thing is not the right thing, but if you're not willing to be challenged on it, then you're never probably going to grow. Real growth comes from challenge and from pressure. And if you're not willing to step into those positions, if you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone and overcome that, then you will never get faster. You'll never get stronger. You'll be lifting 25s on the barbell for the next 25 years, and you'll tell people about how strong you used to be. And I'm not about that life. I'm about progression. I'm about growth. And I'm about the people that hopefully I'm impacting, about them growing as well and being a positive impact in their lives and in their training as well. So, no matter what, I think if we can kind of step outside of ourselves, get over ourselves a little bit, maybe not be so prideful.
Be honest.
Be honest with yourself. Have a good, long, hard conversation and look in I believe Michael Jackson said, I'm talking to the man in the mirror, and realize, you know what? I am not there today.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be there tomorrow. But in 6 months, I might be.
Yeah.
Don't take 6 months and turn it into 3 months after you've committed to it.
No,
Like-
be like that lady you talked about last week. 30 marathons.
30
That was-
marathons,
Yes, just
grinding it out.
grind. That's kind of the.
I'd like to see that list. Honestly, I would love to like
the times.
not just the times. I want to know like what the injury history was in those
Oh,
30 marathons.
Got you. So that's kind of the go one more, the perseverance of just do hard stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, but you're kind of beating your head against the wall.
I really feel like that was more of like she was playing craps, right? Or she's shooting dice and she just kept throwing and just hoping, come on, let's
Mentally
go
it'll
big
get
seven,
there.
big seven. And she just kept rolling snake eyes over and over again.
Kept running until the injury.
That's it. That's it. All right. That's all I got for today. You guys have anything else we need to add or anything else?
No, I think we said it all. That was a great topic, and hopefully helped a lot of listeners today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope people take it to heart. Put down that David Goggins book a little bit, and
I mean, this is how we all
That's
train.
easier
I
stuff.
mean, the progression. Just think, Lauren. Next week, 20 wall balls.
I heard.
So
I
just-
heard. I'm super excited,
So
guys.
he's,
I'm
super excited. So that's a progression next
I
week
will
for
try
us.
to contain my emotions a little better.
No, let him out.
I won't
Get
be
through
here.
the
So you do
workout.
what you got to do.
Great.
Let him
All
out.
right. You do what you got to do. And if I am here, I'll just walk out of the room.
Just
I'll
won't
let you do
If
you.
there's a hole in the wall, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
you'll
No.
you'll be
there will not be
patching
a hole in the wall.
I
will-
will.
there
Luckily,
will
I
not-
know how to patch holes in walls.
There will not, and I'm going to tell you there won't be a hole in the wall because I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I've seen you do work. And so the craftsmanship, I don't know if it's going to be the best.
I actually have done a very good job patching holes in walls. Don't ask why those holes got in the walls, but I have.
I saw you hang up a
That's
freaking
different.
metal hanger.
That's
Okay.
different.
So I see how you put holes in the wall. I don't want to see how you fix them. That's all I'm saying. Right.
All right.
So, all right, guys, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. As always, if you haven't already, please check us out on YouTube. You can go to Running with James on YouTube for the podcast. You can get a visual representation of the podcast. You can also get training videos and shoe reviews. You can also check us out, obviously, on podcasts, wherever you listen. And if you want extra content and you want to support the show, you can do it two ways. You can do it, one, through Patreon. You can become a member through Patreon at patreon.com/runningwithjames. Or go check out our website, mybcfit.com. We have gear, merch. You can go buy merch, whether it's HYROX Run Club, whether it's BC gear, whatever it may be. Stuff's cool. It fits well. You can be active.
This is the hat right here.
You can get the hat, sweet. So all types of ways for you to look cool, and then you can also support the channel at the same time. So guys, we appreciate you coming in, and remember, as always, when you change your mind,
You
Change your life.
Bye.